All right, Shalom. Start this lesson first and foremost. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, double honor, swells, apostles, great millstone, and rule well, and put shalom, percent truth and true sincerity. And shalom to the for let's get across the four winds. Lord, in this lesson be edifying. And the title of this lesson is simply going to be about the Grid 2030, which is a U.S. Department of Energy vision for the nation's electric grid through 2030 and beyond. It describes a modern, intelligent, two-way power system that integrates distributed energy like renewable and storage, advanced communications, automation, and real-time data to deliver cleaner, more reliable, and efficient electricity. The plan calls for two-way flow of electricity and information, greater use for the distributed generation and smart technologies, which we already know Esau wants to create these 15-minute cities and have enough energy to power these 15-minute cities and these, techno cities, basically, these technology-based cities, which you see around the world. You see them having facial recognition with AI and things like that. All these things could be applied and put on this grid. To continue it on, it says stronger grid reliability. It says greater use of distributed generation and smart technologies, stronger grid reliability, efficiency, and security, updated markets, regulations, and institutions to support these changes. In essence, Grid 2030 envisions transforming the traditional power grid into a smart, flexible, and resilient national energy and work. Esau wants everything to be on this grid, including people. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, how can a 2030 grid and an RFID chip be related to each other? And it says that's a smart connection to explore. While the Grid 2030 and RFID radio frequency identification chips come from different technological domains, they can be linked through the idea of a highly connected, data-driven, intelligent grid system. Here's how they relate. Number one, tracking and managing grid assets. RFID chips can be attached to physical components of the grid, transformers, meters, cables, tools, and spare parts, allowing utilities to track equipment location and condition in real time, manage inventory and maintenance schedules efficiently, improve response times during outages or repairs. RFIDs become a smart part of the smart grid's digital twin, providing accurate asset data. And it says building the 2030 grid requires millions of smart devices and components. RFID supports automatic inventory control and logistics for substations, renewable plants, and storage systems, reduce human error in installation and maintenance tracking. They're trying to push this technology. They're trying to push AI. Them pushing this 2030 grid is basically everything is going to be connected to the grid, including you, including people. You're going to be connected to the grid. How are you going to be connected to the grid? If you take that RFID chip, that microchip, which is the point that I was looking for. It says RFID-based identity management can ensure that only authorized devices and personnel interact with critical grid systems. It says access to substations, control centers, and smart meters is monitored and verified. So everything is going to be monitored. They want this digital society, and this is what Esau is trying to lead everything to, this digital society, including putting people on this digital society. When you receive that RFID, that microchip, which is the C-HIP, which is the MOTB that the Bible speaks about, this RFID chip. And Esau's trying to push this 2030 agenda so he can get his system running, because he wants to crash this system so he can come with his new system, man. That's Esau's whole idea in MO. That's why the dollar bill, he's going to try to crash the dollar bill. The way that they move is problem solution. They create the problem and they give you the solution. And a lot of people are going to be taken by this. A lot of people are going to fall for this scheme of Esau, because that's what he does. Hey, you have depth, you have this, that, and a third. You want a fresh new start, you want a fresh new beginning. Hey, take that C-HIP. You have a fresh start, you have a fresh beginning, you'll be good. That's how Esau is going to try to persuade to the people, man. It's the book of Revelation. Well, before I grab that, I want to grab this real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. That's right. We're not ignorant of Esau's devices. You know, Esau's trying to push this, like, oh yeah, you're trying to make a society, a more advanced society, make things more fluent, make things more efficient, not knowing that, you know, his whole thing is to push this C-hip, man. That's what he wants. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to C-hip everybody up. And it says, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. You know, we're not ignorant of Esau's devices. We're not ignorant of his schemes and his plots of what he's trying to do, man. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. I don't know why I backed out. But it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that mark that I was talking about is a C-hip, which is the M to the O to the T to the B. You know, the charagma. And the device that will be used to implant the C-hip in you is the Karax. Now, if you take this C-hip, you know, you're through. If you take the charagma, you're through. There's no coming back from that, man. And a lot of people often say that they could just put it in their hand and just take it out afterwards and they'll be okay. No, it's not going down like that. If you take this mark, if you take this C-hip, it shows that you're down with Esau and you're down with the society. If you take the C-hip, you're through. There's no coming back from it. You know, Esau's whole MO, everything is leading to the C-hip. That's the biggest prophecy that we're waiting on. Everything is leading to the C-hip. Because once he starts forcing the C-hip, forcing the C-hip on people, we know what's next. We know what's coming. But Esau, he wants to C-hip everybody up, man. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to know what you're doing, what you're eating, why you do this, why do you act like this, why do you act like that. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to chip everybody up. And there's a consequence for those who take that C-hip, for those who take that chip, man. Revelation 16:2. And the first one out and poured his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome, grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. So if you take that C-hip, you know, you're going to get that grievous sore, man. There's no putting it in and just taking it out and, oh, you're good. You're going to have a grievous sore. You're going to be marked. You took that C-hip. There's no putting it in and taking it out. Jake thinks that, oh, they could finesse the Most High. Yeah, I'm going to get it so I could be able to eat this, that, and the third, and now I'm going to take it out afterwards. No, it doesn't work like that. Once you take that C-hip, you chose your side. You showed that you trust in Esau and you trust in his society. Just like when it goes into it, when it talks about a slave, you put that all. Once you put that all in his ear, that slave's ear, you belong to your master. You are your master's property. Just like if you take this C-hip, you belong to Esau. You are property of Esau. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city. Salakia. I'll just get to the point. Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, then shall the same drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the Lamb. It's like with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. So if you take that C-hip, if you take that device, man, hey, this is your consequence. You're going to be fire and brimstone. You're going to burn up. You know, that's your consequence because, hey, at the end of the day, you've been warned. The Lord been having his prophets out here and warn the people, letting you know what's to come, and to not take this C-hip, to not take this RFID C-hip, man, to not take this chip, man. You know? But that's the consequence. This is what Esau wants. That's why he's trying to push these things so fast. That's why he's trying to hurry up, because he knows that he has a short time. Revelation 12:12. He knows that he has a short time. So he's trying to speed the process up, man. You know, just putting everything to the grid. You know, having a fourth industrial revolution. That's what he wants. Well, so let me grab that real quick. which the fourth industrial revolution is a new era of technological advancements characterized by the fusion of physical, digital, and biological worlds. It is driven by technologies of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, Internet of Things, IoT, robotics, and 3D printing, which are transforming industries, economies, and daily life. This revolution builds on digital revolution of the third, but its impact is more systematic, blurring the lines between physical and digital realms. And this is what Esau is trying to push, his fourth industrial revolution, man, to push that C-hip, man. You know, beware. You know, beware of the C-hip, man, which is that RFID chip, man. Beware. You know, Esau has these plans on board. You know, Tawadi Yabashim Yashai, once again, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. You know, but that's it. Lord, one, this lesson was edifying. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to our elders, apostles, a great millstone, and root well, and push out 100% true and true sincerity. And shalom to the whole